3,000 Vale workers from Canada have been on strike for months now, trying to defend their pension scheme from a greedy multinational employer that recently bought their firm. Now, two of their members have been here in Brighton this week, appealing for support for the many workplace reps that have come to the Unite sector conferences. The two reps from the USW, Joe Guido and Dave Gordon, spoke passionately in many of the conferences about the company and how it's treating them.
We've been mining in our town in Sudbury for over 100 years. The company that owned us prior to that, as Carol mentioned, was Inco Limited, a Canadian-based company. Obviously, we had our struggles and fights with them too. 79, we were out on strike for issues for 9 months. In 2003, we were out for 3.5 months. The difference this time is, multinational company, they've only owned us for 3 years. The purchase price was significant, but they've been making billions of dollars in profit every year since they've owned us. Yet, come time to negotiate, their idea of negotiating is to dictate. They don't negotiate, they dictate to us. So our bargaining committee, in good faith, for 3 months sat across the table from these people and trying to work out issues. You know, they have an issue with our pension style, so they want to change it. They have issues with our bonus systems, they want to change it. So of course our negotiating team, being negotiators, would negotiate with them, right? Let's see what we can do, let's manipulate the system a little bit without cutting the workers' throats. Every time that would happen, the only thing that came back across the table was the exact same piece of paper. So after 3 months, they brought back what was available for the members to vote on. And over 3,000 of our members in Sudbury rejected it by 85%. Our sister local in Voisey's Bay, they rejected their contract by 97%. And also another local, a little south of me in Port Colborne, another steelworker local, they rejected the contract by 95%. So we have 4 locals in Canada that work for Vale, all represented by steel, and we have 3 of them currently on strike. I mentioned the bonus system. Just to give you a little insight about the bonus system, in the past, probably in excess of 17, 18 years ago, things weren't too good in the nickel market, so to ask for some wage increases just wasn't going to happen. So our negotiating team at that time negotiated a bonus that if there's a profit, if the nickel price gets to a certain level, that we would get a little raise during that period of time, and then when it goes down, we go back to our base salary. So it was a good system, it worked very well, and the company didn't mind it for the first 10 to 12 years because it didn't pay nothing. But now it's starting to pay. The problem with Vale Inco is they see the profits that they're giving back to us and don't want to do that. So they put us out on a strike, and we'll be out for probably considerably, estimated maybe another 4 to 5 months at least. We'll be on strike for a while. C'est la vie. We'll do that. Our families are suffering. Some significant costs are being made by individuals because of losing homes. We've already had a few individuals do that. But the fight is still there. The membership is still very solid. The support we get from coming to these conferences, the information that comes back to us via emails, through the websites, just does nothing but to motivate us to continue. So I want to thank you for your time. Please talk about the strike.
I also spoke to Joe and Dave earlier on, and this is how they explained the situation in Canada and also how it affects workers in Brazil.
Prior to this company owning us, we were owned by a Canadian company. Now a multinational company called Vale has purchased us, and this is our first collective agreement with them, and they're actually going after the basics of our collective agreement. Everything, pensions, grievance procedures, basic seniority rights.
Well, Vale is, as Dave mentioned, a multinational company, and their human rights, their health and safety, all of the other issues that Brazilian workers have gone through, or they're trying to drop that information, bring that information back, and those practices, work practices, back to Canada. The Canadians have a standard of living, standard of health and safety that's we believe is second to none, and it seems that the Brazilians would like to bring us down to their level. The Brazilian workers are extremely supportive of us. In fact, they just negotiated and signed a collective agreement several weeks ago with a little bit of pressure from us. We have sent delegations down to Brazil to assist them, and we're just hoping that that momentum follows and comes up to Sudbury.
We're here at the sector conferences to speak about our challenges, but also it's motivational for ourselves. Joe and I really get motivated when we're here, and we can bring that back to our members and our comrades to explain how much support we have. And the more we get, it's motivating to us when we're on strike into our 5th month. We need everything we can get to keep us motivated to stay out.
The Vale Co strike is a big campaign for Workers Uniting, but it's not the only thing we're doing. Now, Carol Landry spoke to the health sector conference and explained how we had a joint healthcare campaign.
Our healthcare system in Canada is very similar to yours. We have a universal healthcare system, single payer, and when this healthcare reform campaign started in the United States, one of the things that the insurance companies and the opponents to the reform did was started running these nasty advertisements. And they would have these Canadian people on the TV talking about what a terrible system we had in Canada. They would have people from the UK on TV talking about what a terrible system you had. They said that in the UK, for example, that it was very selective service, that if you were deemed to be worthless as a human being, then there was a sort of death panel who determined you were not going to get any health care, and in fact you were going to be left to die. They said that for older people, senior people, that there was absolutely no hope for you, that chances are you're going to be deemed that you were worthless and it wasn't worth giving you any health care, that health care was rationed, that the lineups went on forever, that the waiting list went on forever. So what we did is we got in touch with Gail and some other folks, with Richard O'Brien, and we had them do some information for us to put in as part of our campaign. And if you look at our website on our healthcare sector, you'll see there's actually a video where Gail talks about your system. And we started running our advertisements, talking to our members, educating our members to make sure that they weren't buying into this, because unfortunately some of them were.
Now, you can get on board with some of the Workers Uniting campaign, and you could actively support the Vale Co workers. Just go to the Workers Uniting website and click on the link.